recording. Hey, welcome to the first episode of where we plan on discussing a D&D quest. I'm actually going to discuss the first quest my players did in their current
D&D discussions.
D&D discussions, there you go. Where they started off in the city. They almost all of them started with new characters. A few of them kept their old ones.
Yeah. And now all the old ones are gone.
Now all the old ones are gone. They all have brand new characters. Whether it be through them dying, some of our players currently for the next couple months just can't play because they have scheduling things they have to do on the days we play D&D, and we couldn't change schedule around to fit them and keep a current. Like several other people would have to leave for them to play, so we're just gonna wait for them to come back, and they'll be playing. But for now, they have an interesting makeup. Of characters. We're not going to go too far into that unless you guys want to hear more about the player group specifically in the world that I'm building, the world I DM in.
Which can't really record sessions yet. That's something we're working on.
Working on that. We'll see what happens. The first quest was in a house. They were in a city. Hopefully, I'll have a little blurb if I can get this uploaded onto something I can edit it on. Where they were on or have a map and I can explain everything. If not, you guys can probably go see my articles on cardcommons.com, my D&D world building articles. You can find them on there. And the map I had on there. This is one of the cities that was on the map. The place they were in was Wellbrook, I want to say? Yes, you were in Wellbrook because you were in the south part of the continent, Tarject. They were basically just a group of mercenaries looking for money. Some not necessarily mercenaries, but just looking for a new lifestyle. And they all found one contract that seemed appealing. It was 500 gold per person for the promise of just simply clearing out a house that had some glowing lights in it. Probably just some ruffians messing around. They met a man.
People disappeared inside of it. That was a big thing. People were disappearing.
People were disappearing inside of it. No,
that's why it was so expensive to pay 500 gold.
And just know this is mainly for like other DMs who want to use these kinds of stories. You can use the story. Just feel free to change out names of creatures, NPC. Places, NPCs, whatever you need to do. What they were going to do was simply go in the house, investigate it, clear out the problem. Easy money. Not really. As with a twist for most things.
And also, there were crazy things that we did that were just went. Like, we hired a homeless person to come around with us. I don't know why. That's a long story.
That is a long story. What they did was they investigated the house. Two of them fell through the trap that was set in 4 of the rooms, falling 100 feet to the basement, where the aboleth...
One of the 4 rooms.
One of the 4 rooms. All 4 rooms had a trap. It's just 100 foot, you drop down. They landed, they survived the fall, barely. They were both at like 3 hit points. And in the bottom was an aboleth. The man who hired them was an high elf named Rolus Merlo. He was a cleric for the aboleth, actually. The aboleth was granting him power. And he was sending people down there to they were either going to subvert and work for the aboleth and do its bidding, or the aboleth would kill them. That's what he was doing. Their job, of course, once they figured this out, is to either join the aboleth and become like evil campaign, or kill the aboleth and stay with the way their characters were. That's not what happened right away, though. What happened was those two agreed to make a deal with the aboleth and promised to bring back their other party members, so they went back up. Well, that was happening. The other 4 were attacked by Wisp, which were the ghosts of people that had been killed in the house. They managed to fend off the Wisp and get them to flee.
Tough little bastards.
Yeah, they left the house. Instead of going back down to make a deal, they investigated a little, though not really thoroughly at all. They talked to the homeless man outside who was clearly unstable and decided that was enough investigation.
I tried to do more. Mm-hmm. I checked out the building. That was really it.
Yeah, they didn't do much.
I tried.
Really, from the player's perspective, it was pretty easy. They fought the aboleth. They went back down. They fought the aboleth. Of course, the cleric came in behind them, attacked them as well.
God, he hurt.
Oh yeah, they almost killed several
I got hit by a harm spell. Very first turn.
They were really high. They were level 10 at the time. And there was 8 of them. The IDM 8. Right now it's 6 right now because of people gone. 5 to 6 players depending on schedules. And they did manage to defeat it. They were subjected to the aboleth disease. Luckily for them, though, and they didn't know this, the homeless man that they had hired was actually a cleric, a really powerful cleric by the name of Vic. He managed to cure them of that.
Just batshit crazy.
For the DM side, though, there were a lot of things they didn't do. A lot of things they could have investigated. They did find out the water wasn't poison per se, because people were able to drink it. But if you read the aboleth, its regional effects is water drinking by enemies of the aboleth makes them sick. It makes them sick and they vomit it back up. They cannot drink it. So the guards and stuff who wanted to go out and clear the house but weren't able to, whenever they would drink the water, they would get sick and puke it up. No one else was. So they didn't. No one really picked up on that. No one rolled really good on their Nirvana check or anything to even think of what could be during that. What they didn't do, because the Rollis Merlo, he was a bar owner who had been slowly corrupted by the aboleth. Instead of asking around, because what he'd said to them was that he was having trouble with his business due to the lights. It was driving people away from his bar. People didn't want to come out. They didn't want to buy drinks and celebrate. What he told them was a lie. If they had asked around the town, they would have found out he's not really doing that bad in business. And he's not really close to the house, per se. So it doesn't make sense why he'd even know or be interested in this house.
None of us thought of that, no.
None of them thought of that.
I didn't trust him at all.
None of them
but
thought...
I didn't think to ask around for
None of them thought to investigate his office before they killed him.
Amen.
They did it afterwards and they found his journal. Well, the one who went in found his journal and found out that he had been slowly corrupted by the aboleth.
Yeah, I didn't think